you in. And so our recording is on. And we're going to do the last plate for the week, which is plate 9, which I just put in the drive. I didn't realize it wasn't in the drive. But it looks like this. And so this is an orthographic projection. And the reason it's kind of important to have it is that, at least in the city of Davis and many cities, if you go over an 8-foot span in a landscaping project, and it's an overhead, it needs to be approved on official drawings. And they're going to look at what's the size of your rafter and your spacing and stuff. And it just comes out of tables. It's not like you have to be a structural engineer, but you do want good drawings. And so my suggestion on this was you could just trace it. We've done tracing already, and you could just trace it, and you can put dimensions in and do an override. Just basically erase the dimension and type in what you want, and it would be fine. It would be just fine. But I'm going to actually make these parts in the plan view for each one and see if we can maybe just get a little bit nicer drawing out of it. And then if I've got this column, I can use this and change it to 10 foot, 12 foot, 6 foot. I can change heights. I can change all sorts of things on these beams and stuff. So it'll be kind of nice, I think, if I can do a little bit more. So I'm going to take more time to do it the first time than if you were to just trace it. But the goal is that you can see that then I'll have some items that I could use later on, especially if I like this design and I'm planning to do it over and over and over again. Okay, so here we go. I'll pull that down and I'll pull that down. And I saw that it looked like it was kind of architectural units. So I'll turn it to my architectural units, and I didn't see anything that was closer than a 16th, so that sounds okay. And I saw that my item was about 12 foot. And so now I can put my drawing in as a reference. And kind of have it a size that I can work with. So now I'm going to look, I want to draw this thing as a part, this thing as a part, and this thing. And these are different. Notice this is it's a 1.5, it's a 2x8 because it's 7 1/4. Oh my gosh. It's such a weird thing when you're working with dimension lumber, but a 2x8 is 1.5 by 7 1/4. So I'm going to draw this to that size by 12 foot long. And this is a 4 by 10. And I really think a 4 by 10 is 9 1/4, but I'm going to draw it this way anyway. 12 foot long. And then these are 8 by 8 columns, which means that this view, looking at it this way, is the same as this view. So that'll be cool. And then I've got distances to put them apart. And so I can make these up fairly quickly. So I'll see what I can do. So I'm going to start with this one, which is 3.5 by 9.5. So this is 12 foot long by 9.5 deep. So, it doesn't really have much for styles and layouts and everything, but I'll put it on a B size, and I'll put some thick and some thin in there, and a text layer, and a def points layer. There we go. And So I'll draw on my thin layer by now. So I'm going to go 12 foot by 9.5 inches. So that's the shape of it. And then I can do some cool stuff. I can make it come down a bit. And what does it look like over there? Down, over, down, over. So I'm just going to put a little bit of something that looks like that. Because it didn't really tell me what it looked like. I can just make something. Now, of course, I can trim. Okay, so I got that thing drawn. And if I look at it in the top view, it's 3.5 wide. But didn't do that one right. I'm not doing a good job with my command here at all. That's my 12, and that's my 3.5. So now I have my other view of it. And if I come in over here, now I've got my different views of it. So I'm using some of those ideas of orthographics. I've got my different views of the big one. And you can see this little view right here is this. Isn't that cool? And that other view I was showing you is this. So I've got my views to put in. Now my next one is 12 by 7.5, and it's 1.5. Okay, so 12 foot by 7.5 inches. And I'll do the same kind of little thing that I did on the other one. As a matter of fact, I'll make it somewhat similar. Oh, I missed. And, do I need to do that? No, I have no clue what's going on there. Now they'll look kind of the same. Now this one is only 1.5. Because it's an 8 by 2 by 8 instead of a 10 by 4. And since I made those kind of the same, I can copy these. Well, I'll just run them out. Now this is 1.5. So I did read the drawing. So now I've got those parts. And the last one is this column. And I'm really not sure how tall that column is. But I can kind of get, so this is about half scale over here. If I take this measurement, it'll be close to half, and I can figure it out. So that's probably about an 8-foot tall column. And it's 8-inch by 8-inch. There we go. So that's its full length. Then there's some, and you don't have to really get awesome about this, but making one a little bit smaller. And then I can mirror that. And now I get to do my trimming. And let's see what trims. This and this. Now I've got something that's kind of, oh, and I think there's one more little thing part way up. Yeah, I'm just going to use that one again. I don't even really care where it goes. Stick it there. There. And I know from the top, I made that 1 foot 3 inch. So my top view, that's what the top view and the bottom view of that is going to look like. So I've got most of my parts. Now these are 1.5 by 1.5 stringers that are 12 long. So let me make those. And if I look at it over this way, that's my little end view of it. So I think I've got most of my parts ready to put together. So I'm going to start with this view. And I see that I can start with this thing. So I'm going to assemble that one into place. I made these into blocks. In some ways, it's a little easier. And then this column goes 2 feet in from the edge. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to put this midpoint in place, and then I'm going to move it. What did it say? 2 feet. That should be right in place. Oh, yeah, 2 feet. And then it should copy 8 feet. So that should all be like correct. So now these little things go on there. That's the end view of these rafters, right? These things line up with this. So it's looking at the end of the small rafter. That's this thing. And that thing goes, looks like the center is 1 foot 6 1/4 from the end. So I'll find the midpoint and I'll put it on the end. And then I think I move it. How far was it? 1 foot 6 1/4. One foot space 6 dash 1/4. Oh, didn't like that. Yeah, it did. Let's see if I got it right. DIST. No, I need to move it 6 1/4. There we go. And then it says that they space at 1 foot 9 1/2 inch. Well, let's see. I'm not doing very good with my architectural command stuff. One foot, move. There we go. And now I can just copy those on across. Isn't that cool? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's much quicker and easier, isn't it? Okay. And so now I need my little top stringer, which is this one. And I love the way, if you've got that polar tracking on, it's lined up. So I have that view. Woohoo! I have that view done. So now let me go get the next view. So I'm going to start off with this rafter. Which is this one. I don't know exactly where it's going to go, but the top of it has to line up with that. That's that orthographic stuff. So that's got to line up. So I've got that one in the right place. Now these things, these columns, center up at 1 foot 4 inch. And my suspicion from knowing a little bit about construction are these two beams are going to center up on there. So the center of the beam goes at 1 foot 4 inch. So I'm going to put it on the end, and then I'm going to move it 1 foot 4 inch. I know what's going on there. There we go. And I'll just write DIST to make sure. One foot 4 inch. Good. Now I can put the column in place. And because I drew each of the parts right, everything should line up and be correct. Now, the easiest thing here is to see that it's the same on either side. So I can either mirror it or I can move it 9 foot 4. Let me mirror it. I'm getting too much when I do that. Now, let's just make sure. Am I getting it at 1 foot 4? (1 foot 4). See the delta X says 1 foot 4. And then I should 9 foot 4. Okay. So that one's going okay. Now I just got to figure out these little stringer things on the top. And I think those are these. And it starts 1 foot 1 1/4 from the end. 1 foot 1 1/4 from the end. And I'm going to guess that that's the midpoint. I can't really tell from that drawing, but I'm going to hope. I think I moved it 1 foot. I am just not doing that well. One foot. Okay. And then it says that they are 11 3/4 apart. Here we go again. I do the same thing. And I could probably figure out my array and all that kind of stuff. But I usually kind of go through them. So, okay, that looks okay. That looks pretty even. Now I think I got that view. Oh, man. Now I got this booger view. Okay, well, I see this is 1 and the other, they're both 1.5 by 1.5. So I can just use either of these. And then the other one, I'll rotate it up. Now I know where those go. It has to line up with the end of that. Uh, that's the one that goes, yeah. Right? Those have to line up. So there's that one, and then I can copy it. Again, using my little trick, it's going to go there. Those were those rafters. Now this one, I'm gonna guess it's the center again, 1 foot 1 1/4. What I did on the last one. And then they're 11 3/4 apart. Only if you're working in solid modeling. Yeah, there's also a wipeout command. Oops. There's also a wipeout command. And actually, I could have done these trims on this one before I started copying it across, right? So you're right. It's quicker if I do my trims right now. And which one's trim? This one, this one. Because then I only have to trim a few times. You could actually make a solid hatch pattern over the top of it and copy that, but that's kind of gooping up. That's not really the best. Okay, so now I'll do my copy. Yep. There we go. And then I see I've got my top view. I'm not really positive, but I can lay out where these little things go, right? Because I know where they go. I can set it right under here, which is kind of my 8x8. I can put this. Man, I know I can do that. Let me just get it over there close. So that's going to sit somewhere like that. And I know that the geometric center is how far away? 1 foot 4 inch. So if I put my geometric center right there, and then if I move that one, I'm just doing terrible with my architectural stuff. There we go. And you can see it kind of looks like that. Kind of looks like that. And then we would know that this top one here is going to go like on that midpoint. And out to there. I don't know why it's not catching my snap on that. There it goes. So that's where that goes. And then we know I don't see that. Oh, I probably did see that. So now I've really got that thing correctly in place. And I think I trimmed too much. because I should see, that's what I should not see. So I trimmed too much. There, that looks right. And then, of course, I could do the same thing here and on the other end. But see how it starts coming together? So I want to now go over, I know you guys can make up the rest of that. And it seems laborious, but you've got a very, very good, clean drawing now. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this stuff for now. I could make them blocks. I could cut and paste them into another drawing. I can do all sorts of stuff. I'm going to get rid of this one. Zoom in. And now I'll come over here because I want to take a little bit of time to show you some of the things that you can do here. And that was wrong. I don't know what I was thinking there. I want to create a rectangular layout. And there we go. And that's close. And I'll need to think about my scale. Now, here's a really interesting thing. Most planning departments accept 1/4 inch equals a foot or 1/8 inch equals a foot. Well, that's too small. That looks okay. Believe it or not, it's so weird. But they do. They ask for one of those two scale factors. So I'm going to go with that. And now I'm going to go to, I think it was architectural, scale factor 1. I'll put it on my text layer. Okay, here we go. Let's see how we did. One foot 4 inch. (9'4". This is where that extra work pays off because these are the correct dimensions. 1 foot 4 inch. What else goes on there? (12 foot) across the top. So this is what I like is I really don't have to change anything. I've got it. Go check this and see if these are, that all looks okay. I think I'll make these 1/8 text height. And so this says something like 6 rafters, 1.5 by 7.25. 1 1/2 by 7 1/4. And that should be on different layer. So there we go. I got all that. These look pretty big. Let's see, what did I do wrong there on my leaders? Textite says it's 1/8. Says it's 1/8, so that's okay. Okay, so I've got that. Now let's see how I do on my next one. And I might spread these apart just a little bit now. That looks a little nicer. So I've got my 12 foot again. And I have kind of the same thing, right? Yep. See, I'm trying to be clean and get things to match up. Okay, and this one says 2 beams, 9.5 by 9.5. I didn't put the dash in there, which is why it did that, which is okay. Don't worry about it. And this is 2 each, 4 square fiberglass columns. I might go back and make those letters a little smaller at some point, but it's coming in okay. And now you can see I can do the rest of it. So that is why I like to get them right. I can actually put them in there and my dimensions are right. I don't have to override anything. If I needed to override something, I double click it, go to the back and backspace it away. And then it'll let you write whatever you want. But I prefer to get it right. So there we go. Got a few more things to do on here. That's the essence of this one. And you get a pretty nice drawing out of it. You know, that's a pretty good drawing. And And here's a really cool thing. Check this out. Let's say, let's see, I'll save this. What if I say, I want to do a different one now. This one is 9'4". I want one that's 12. I can just stretch this. And see how I can all of a sudden get that correct. And what's that going to be? 2 foot 8 inch, something like that. A couple of these little things to change in there, and I've got it. Isn't that cool? And I can just copy this one on up. So I really like the fact once I have it done right, I get to be able to change these very quickly. And as I was telling you before, if you wanted to, you could make this into what's called a dynamic block, where you've got presets already done and you just pull in the one you want. So that's kind of neat. I like that a lot. So that is, I'm going to not save that because I like what I had before. So there we go. Do you have any questions about the last plate, which was landscape? Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and stop